Kavitha, hi, good morning. Great to have you on the show. Wanted to assess, Kavitha, what's really been the impact on demand and consumer sentiment now that the second wave is somewhat easing out? Are things beginning to get better at least?
Good morning, Avni. Thank you very much for having me on the program. It's a very interesting question on demand, and I think the answer is not that simple because we have seen two waves in India right now, and we have seen both the peaks as well as the troughs of the business at this point in time. To be very honest, as a home furnishing retailer, I think all of us have been spending so much time at home that the home has really taken center stage, which also meant that we have all discovered new needs, new dreams, and new desires related to the home. So that is the positive side. But of course, with wave two coming in, business is impacted because, of course, physical retailing is significantly impacted at this point in time. And it is only right to say that online retailing alone cannot compensate for the big losses that have come about in the past couple of months. But if I have to leave it with a positive point, I would say that home furnishing and home retailing has really secured center stage. Consumers are focusing a lot more on their homes, which is really a good trend. And in a small way, it is going to make a meaningful difference to our lives going forward in the future.
Sure. But what about spending uptick? Are now consumers beginning to loosen their purse strings further? Because if we go by the home sales data, home sales have definitely seen an uptick, and that began at the start of the calendar year, continues to be the case even now. But on home improvement, are ticket sizes and spends also increasing?
Yes, there are a couple of interesting trends for us to watch out for. When we look at the data that is coming from market research for the year 2020, when we saw the first wave of the pandemic, we can see that the home furnishing market has actually seen a reduction and a contraction at an overall level. But we also see at the same time that when we look at individual consumer spending, there is much more planned purchases that consumers are making at this point in time. The ticket values have definitely gone up as compared to what it used to be before. And then when customers are walking into a shopping format, like say, for example, our physical stores, as well as online, we are really seeing that there is an intent to buy. And we see from a consumer behavior that intention to buy comes on the backdrop of, all of us spending a lot of time at home and needs related to home taking a center stage. So in the first wave, for example, we saw significant increases in work from home furniture. I think in India, for most of us, a steady stable was a nice to have feature, whereas during the pandemic, it became a very essential part of life at home. And so we can clearly see some of those trends coming in, which is also leading to an increase in spending overall in the home furnishing space. But there are both these counter trends that we need to be aware of. One, overall as a sector, there is a reduction. Also because maybe reduction is seen in spending across multiple different categories. The second part is because it is the home, maybe people are beginning to see new needs and spend a little bit more of their wallet share on home furnishing.
Right. Also wanted to understand, Kavitha, what really is the consumer gravitating towards? Because you at Ikea have both an online as well as offline presence. Is it more online sales which have seen an uptick since the start of the second wave?
I would say it is a mix of both. There is always a consumer that would like to come to the store, not just to shop, but also to take in the inspiration and look at the different home furnishing solutions that are presented in a physical format. Because as all of us, we do take in visual cues, and we would like to see something that is more experiential and visual in nature. So we do see consumers wanting to come into the store format. But as you rightly pointed, digital adoption in India has seen a significant move upwards. Amongst all the markets across the world, we see that Indian consumers have taken on to digital in a big fashion. And that is something that we are seeing in the home furnishing space as well. In the normal context, we would have said that home furnishing is very much a touch and feel category, and people would want to try things out before they actually buy. But it is a very interesting trend that we are seeing, that more and more consumers are very comfortable shopping And we are seeing an increase in the number of consumers both coming to our website as well as the ticket value and the ticket sizes that are being bought online. So clearly a very, very interesting future consumer behavior for us to watch out for.
You recently also expanded your digital reach, Kavitha, as I understand, in Gujarat, as well as online sales services in Bangalore too. How's the demand trend in these cities as opposed to what you already witnessed in cities like Mumbai and Hyderabad earlier?
I think at the outset, it's very important for us to understand that IKEA is an omni-channel retailer, either or, in the sense of saying that it is never the physical format or online retailing. So when we look at a market like Hyderabad, where we've had a presence for the last 3 years, we can clearly see that consumers do have an omni-channel mindset. We know very well that most consumer journeys start online. So when you and I want to shop, maybe the first thing that we're looking at is going to a search engine and typing a sofa or a study table or one of those things. And then depending on the consumer's choice, their comfort, they could continue to do that journey online or at times decide to go to a physical format to really experience what they want to buy. So we need to provide consumers both these choices. And that's really where we as IKEA have endeavored to look at an omni-channel approach. So we also see that the India market is quite advanced when it comes to online and use of e-commerce, which is the reason why we have taken an online first omni-channel approach. So while we opened our store format first and introduced e-commerce at a later point in time, if you look at Mumbai, we opened our e-commerce options and over time opened the in December 20. We also plan to have a similar approach in Bangalore. As you rightly said, we opened the Bangalore market with e-commerce. We've also taken a similar approach in Gujarat, and over time, we will actually see physical formats come in. But in general, consumers have taken very well to the e-commerce option starting point. And it's great to see the love for IKEA and home furnishing in that sense amongst consumers in both these cities.
Yeah, indeed. Wanted to understand then, Kavitha, lastly, what's going to be the strategy for the rest of the financial year? Is the focus at IKEA going to be more on enhancing and increasing your online presence, or is it going to be launching more offline stores?
To be honest, Tavni, it will always be a mix of both. You must be aware that we are looking at additional formats in the Mumbai market. Them in the early part of next year. We are also looking at opening our stores in Bangalore. So we will continue to work on that. But I think in addition to that, we will always look at the omnichannel approach and look at how we can increase the capabilities that are available to consumers who are coming online. So it will definitely be a mix of both. We will continue to increase and improve the features that are available on the website. We will also look at new services, particularly in the context of home furnishing. Consumers do expect a lot of services. It could be related to planning. It could be related to home furnishing consultancy. It could be related to interior design services. We have launched a whole host of these services in the last year and a half. So we will continue to focus on improving and opening up more new services towards our consumers with the intention to create both interest in home furnishing as well as making it easier for consumers in their shopping journeys. This is particularly important in the context of bedroom furniture or storage units or wardrobes. It is also very relevant in the context of kitchens and so on. So we will definitely continue to focus on improving the services, offering new options on the website, but we will always focus on opening up new physical formats to better penetrate various cities across India and make IKEA more accessible to consumers in India.
Kavitha, I'm curious to know personally, what have people bought more? Considering you at IKEA cater to anything and everything that one would need for a home, but is there any particular product category that consumers are gravitating towards more?
I think we are seeing a very positive trend across all categories, but in point of view categories, I would say that during the start of wave one, work from home furniture predominant lead for a lot of consumers across Indian cities, and we saw a big uptake in demand for work from home furniture. The surprising elements that came about was also other aspects such as outdoor furniture, because I think all of us were locked up at home for a reasonably long period of time. We also saw that people developed an interest to create a small balcony space for themselves or an outdoor space for themselves. And people actually brought a lot of outdoor furniture during this time frame. So that was a very, very interesting trend. But we should not miss out on some trends such as cooking and eating and storage furniture, which also was something that was very interesting for our consumers. It is all related to the fact that we were spending 24/7 of our time at home, which also meant that we were eating 3 meals a day at home. We were sleeping more on the mattresses, maybe. We were spending more time on the sofa. So there was a need all across the different categories that we actually saw. But to highlight a few, I would say that it was work from home furniture. It was outdoor, which was a very interesting trend to watch out. And of course, it was cooking and eating and storage needs of consumers at home, which also got amplified at different points in time.
Kavitha, great speaking with you. Thanks as always for taking the time out. And by the way, it's Aisha. Avan couldn't make it for the interview today. Good speaking with you.
Oh, thank you so much. Sorry about that, Aisha. Thanks a lot.